Hey everyone, it's Alicia. Welcome back to my channel. I gotta talk fast, folks. I've tried doing this video like 5 times today, and every time I start doing it, just at the end, my husband walks in or something happens, and I've had to edit like 5 of them. So forgive me if my energy is a little bit down, but I'm just frustrated, folks. It's just been one of those days. Look at my hair. You always know when I'm real frustrated, because unless I'm wearing a hat, my hair does not look like this. Okay. Folks, I am so happy to be able to tell you that up until these interruptions, I was having a good making day. Do you see this? Oh yes, folks. But it's this one I really want to show you. So they're still a bit wet. I haven't pulled them open yet. I haven't curled them. I haven't glittery accented them. I haven't put in any spray. There's a whole bunch of things you can do to alter these flowers. But do y'all remember when I told you that Lily gave us the great tutorial for her flowers? Well, ever since she started making them, I fell in love with them. And then I watched her tutorial and I'm like, I can do this. Yes, folks, I really can. In fact, it's to such an extent that I'm now altering the centers. Notice this is not the way Lily teaches us to do. No, I did this the way I build up a double tassel. So sometimes when I make a tassel, let me show you what I mean. I'm going to show you quickly. If I want double thickness, but usually I would use double-sided paper. So let me see. I'll do this a different way so you can actually see what I'm doing. See, this is why I can't do tutorials. You see how you lose all this space, folks? I need a slightly longer piece because the problem is I want to show this to you, but I don't want to waste. I did a whole bunch of paper cutting today. Okay, so let's say I wanted to make a layered tassel, right? So I would maybe want to make sure this is perfect. I probably would score it. I don't have a mat here, folks. I'm using plastic plates. I'm not kidding. That's what I'm using. Or my cutting board. All right, so I score that down, or what Judy calls fancy burnishing. In other words, drive it in, drive it in. Okay. And then all I do, I know a whole bunch of people are hauling those. I know they're all hauling those things. Those, like those tassel dies from Alina. And they seem to work really well, folks. I just have never needed one. I don't know why this makes sense to me in the way that, I guess in the way that the crepe paper rosettes make sense to me, this makes sense to me. So I have never needed a tassel die. And, when I get home, I am going to do a tassel tutorial for you. But until then, I just want to show you this real quick. So all I'm doing is I'm fringing the paper. Now, I have fringing scissors at home, and that makes sure that they're perfect. But you know what I've learned, folks? It actually doesn't matter that much. And that's coming from the crooked cutter, okay? All right, so let me show you what I mean by this. I'm just rolling the tassel. I got to put a little glue down. Now, this inexpensive glue that I'm using does not dry quickly. If I used art glitter glue, folks, it would dry really quickly, like in a minute. This glue, which is super cheap compared to art glitter glue, does not glue quickly and often takes 40 minutes to dry. I'm not kidding, because of the heat here, right? Even though we have the air conditioning on for my projects, literally for my projects, the problem is that the humidity still gets in here. So stuff does not dry quickly. Okay, so I'm basically holding this right now. I literally, while talking to you, made this quick tassel. It's not as thick and beautiful as I would normally make it, and I'll pull it apart later to make it thicker, but that's because I'm making a layered one. So, and also I'm just doing this as a demo, not because I'm making it all fluffy. But I did use double-sided paper, folks, because I think it does matter. And when I want to use, this is the Maggie Holmes single sheets I got from Joann's, and they are double-sided, and they're thicker, too, than the ones we get in our pads. But if I were, say, using this paper, I would double it up, because I don't like tassels that show white on the other side unless you're doing it for effect. If it's just because you didn't think to make the other side, I feel like we can do a better job. I just like mine double-sided. Okay, so this is drying. It's literally going to take like 30 to 40 minutes to dry properly. But that doesn't mean I can't show you what I want to show you. So let that dry for a second. So that's the heart one, right? Okay, so let me find another quickly double-sided paper that in a slightly different color and pattern. I have a bunch of stuff cut here, folks, because I've been doing a lot of projects today. And so I have lots of pre-cut paper, ton of pre-cut paper for all my little projects. And all I'm looking for now is a different double-sided paper so that I can show you something. And if I can't find one from there, I know I've got a bunch sitting around here. I just have to make sure I'm finding the right ones. Well, since it's, I shouldn't show you, because if I show you without double-siding it, then I'm kind of breaking my own rule. But because this is only a prototype, I guess it doesn't matter. All right, so let me do it this way. I'll just take the single-sided because it's handy right now. and I'm fringing it up again. All I'm doing is fringing, look. And for fringing, and we know I'm not a straight cutter, I've learned from Lily that it doesn't really matter that much in some cases. And you know, with the flowers, folks, when I was doing these, I didn't really believe her, but the truth is I was so meticulous using my special cutter, which I learned about from Kathy. And folks, if you have arthritis, hand issues, hand weakness, you get sore joints or puffy joints, this thing is amazing. Amazing. I don't know how I lived without this, Kathy. I cannot thank you enough for this tip. Now, I didn't haul it in America. I got it here because I didn't bring it. And then when I started making all these flowers, and you have to razor down, I knew it was hurt my hand, folks, to use my dollar store one. And I remember what Kathy had said about this. Plus, I'm on blood thinner. So I was like, ooh, I slip a little with the dollar store cutter. What a difference to have an amazing blade. What a difference. Oh my goodness. This was worth every penny. Kathy, I don't know what you paid for yours. I don't know, and I didn't ask you, and I didn't look it up because I was like, don't look it up in case you get mad. I paid $10 for mine. So I don't know what it costs in America, folks. But this was $10, and it came with a whole pack of extra blades, which is important because I'm not cutting on a mat and I'm using paper, plastic plates. It damaged the tip actually already because I'm cutting so many flowers, right? But I have backup blades. I'm okay. All right, so this handy dandy is amazing. You also could use it for making tassels if you didn't want to do it with a pair of scissors, okay? So, I mean, they're pretty even, but they're not perfect, but it won't matter, folks. It just won't matter. And then all you do for a layered tassel is you go and measure up. Basically, you go and see if you've cut too long a piece. I prefer to cut longer and then align mine and then make a decision about whether or not that's enough or not, or if I should go a little deeper. And usually it's better to do it afterwards. So at least for me, that's how I prefer to make it. So if I were actually doing this and it weren't a prototype, I would probably have made sure that all my paper was pre-cut. I would do all my fringing at one time. I would do all my gluing then, like I would do one step at a time, all gluing, all fringing, all adhering, and then I do glittering and attaching bands, and then I dress them up and I put in a cabochon. If this weren't a prototype, folks, what I would have done already was inserted my elastic, because I'm using elastic here, not regular. Like back home, I use a different cap top. But here I'm just doing this quick to show you what I mean by a layered tassel. Let me just see if I move that over. Now I gotta let this dry while I'm talking to you because I told you this paper takes forever to dry. It takes forever to dry, folks. It's crazy how long this takes, but it's a lot less expensive. And you have to muck with it a lot more than art glitter glue. You do. Like, I wouldn't do this if I were in a rush, okay? Like, I was making flowers today and rosettes today while I was watching your videos. So I wasn't in a rush. So I could use the cheap glue because I was willing to wait for it to dry. And I had the patience because I wasn't rushing anywhere. So I built a bunch of these. And if you notice, like, this is the way Lily taught us how to make it traditionally. And then what you do is you pull it back. And what I was saying is I like to combine Lily and Crafty Kimchi's methods. Some of these I'll curl, I glitter up all of them, I do highlights with glossy accents, and some of them I put spray with, my hands are all gluey. I put sprays in, I'll put in like gems in the middle. I make each one unique, but I started altering the centers. And just like how I make my tassels, I make middles that are different. And while I'm doing that, I also owe some rosettes because I said I would gift them. I haven't trimmed these up, folks. This is exactly as they appeared when I made them. And you can tell that because I left it so you could see. So while they're close to perfect, they're not all perfect. This one is pretty good. I made a lot today. This one is not bad. I might trim it up a little, but it's pretty good. Let's see this one. This one might need a little rounding. Yeah, it's going to need a little rounding. On this one's a little wonky. This needs more work. So you see, most of them come out perfectly, but then there's some that need to be trimmed up a little. You can put them through a die cutter, or I can cut. Like I kind of can look at it and go, yeah, it needs a cut here. I told you, for some reason, these make sense. I can do these as long as I don't look at them. When I don't look at them, they come out pretty good. It's when I start fussing with them. But I will tell you what I struggled with a little today. I'm good at making the big ones. I'm good at making the jumbo ones. I'm good at making the small ones and the medium ones. The minis give me a bit of a hard time. And Lily never taught us to make the minis, but she did teach us if we adjust, we could. And so this one's pretty good. I like these on like ephemera boxes or Sometimes at a Memdex, like they're really teeny. They're like an inch. But look how wonky this one came out. I was like not happy with this one, so I have to do quite a bit of trimming around it. I'm not happy with it. So I have trouble with the minis of this, which is so funny because with these, I do really well with the smalls and the minis, and I have trouble with the big. So this gives me a hard time. I have to work really hard because this is 1, 2, 3, 4 kinds of paper, and it's loads of layers, and I have to be super careful when I'm building the big ones. I'm not as good at the big ones as I am at the little ones. These look a lot more like lilies when they're finished. It looks more like a little cabbage, but when I finish with it, it'll look a lot better. And one of the other things I've been doing that Lily didn't say to do, but that's because she's a meticulous maker, and I felt I needed it. So on this one, I wanted the petals out more, so I angled the paper, but I didn't want it to show. So what I did was I built a belly band all the way around it that I just hand cut. And I trimmed it up on my paper trimmer and wrapped it around. And I actually liked it enough that I started adding it to my small ones. Right? Look. And I like that. I like the contrast. So I'm happy I did it. And it looks a bit more finished. Again, Lily's a precise, perfect maker. I'm not. So for me, this just kind of makes it look more finished. So I like it more. But you don't have to add it. She didn't need to add it. I needed to add it on this one. This wasn't an option. Because I didn't want you to see how I had to extend the folds to make the... I really wanted these to come out far. So when I play with it, I want them to come out really far. And for that, I had to angle the paper a little. How do I know? Because I made prototypes to see. See, folks, I really do prototypes for things that I'm not proficient at. And I wanted this to have a really big, like a big outer layer. And I've learned that if I want that, then I built a prototype and I figured out what angle to put the paper at. And it works beautifully. When I pull this out, it's going to work perfectly. And then I will triple thick it up, believe it or not. I will glitter it. I will add dimension by adding in toning and shading. And I will put some glitter, some glitterific. I'll put some gemmies in. Oh yes, folks. And I might put spray in the big one. So super cute. Thank you, Lily. You're right. You can do it with any size of paper. Once you get the hang of it, folks, you can not only change the size, but I started changing the centers. I got good enough that I could change the centers. I didn't have to follow this anymore. I had an idea and I went with it. And look, folks, it works. So this tutorial is amazing. Thank you, Lily, again. It's amazing. These ones are Maggie Holmes papers, but I've done them with all sorts of paper this month. And they come out looking so different. Like the Maggie's ones look like this and this. But boy, does the other, like the Graphic 45 ones look different. The Stamperia looks different. Wow. Super cute. So I made these because some people asked for them in our We Wishes, and I said I'd send them. So I created some of these and some other colors, whipped those off today while watching your videos, and basically just had a nice crafty day. That's pretty much what I did. Because last night Alicia was up till after 2 a.m., and she kept her husband up because I was so upset that I couldn't find Craftypenpalmoma's video request. You know how she left me a comment? She said, listen, I left you a comment. I'm not bugging you. I just want to know if you got it. And I know you're not getting notifications. Well, I was so grateful to you. I think her name is Kayla. Is that right? Craftypenpalmoma. It's Kayla? It's from memory, folks. And I don't go on Instagram that often, so I hope I'm right. If I'm not, I apologize. I think her name is Kayla. And I gotta tell you something. Oh, my battery's low. Better plug me in because I've been on here watching your videos all day and it just got a little low. So I was really grateful to her because I started going back from my most recent and I thought, how did you miss a question? Especially since I've just developed this new system that's working really well. And although I don't get notifications, if I use this system, at least I can see the comments like a list. And it might be a real long list and I don't know when they were made, but at least I can see them. So I just answer them. I go back into those videos and I make a list and I answer them. Well, it's been working. So I was like, how did I miss a new question? Well, folks, we didn't figure it out till this morning. I'm going to tell you about it quickly because I'm already at 14 minutes. I can't believe it. Blah, 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 blah. Alicia today. So what happened was I started from the newest videos and I kept working my way back and I'm like, I can't find her question anywhere. Folks, I was looking for a new question. Of course I was. And when you hear what happened, you're going to understand why. And I wrote to her and I said, girl, I can't find your question anywhere. I emailed her. I just can't. I've looked through already like 10 videos, 15 videos. I can't find it. You better pose it here in case it's disappeared. Didn't I feel like an idiot? I'm telling you. So I go all the way back. My husband's like, what are you doing? It's after 2 in the morning. But folks, I never want to miss one of your comments. So I wasn't going to sleep till I found it. Oh, folks, I found it. You're just not going to believe what happened. I go back to I work my way all the way back to the original video. And not only is my answer not there for Craftypenpalmoma, all my responses are gone. And I'm like, what happened? Now I'm going to tell you a little thing about Nerdy Alicia. I make a note in my craft book notebook when I answer videos so that I remember the next day which ones to start with next. Because I need that. Look, I'm 40-something. I need that list. And I'm artsy. So, like, you know, I need the list. So I look at my book. I'm like, am I losing it? No, right there it says I answered that video and another video. So I'm like, where did my responses go? So I'm like, okay. So I call my husband. I'm like, get out of bed. You got to come look at this. And he's like, well, why did they all disappear? I'm like, I have no idea. He's like, well, check that other video. I go there, folks. Not one of my comments is there. Not one. And it looks like I haven't answered. And I'm like, what is going on? And if I didn't have that note in my book, I would have thought I just messed up. Honestly. Thank goodness for that book. All right. So finally, I find her question. It's the original question that I answered a while back. But I'm like, you better answer it now again. So I answer because I feel terrible. But we can't solve the mystery. And now it's almost 3 a.m. My husband's like, okay, that's it. Call it quits. So I did. Even though I was obsessing, I called it quits. Well, this morning, before I began all these fun craftinesses, I thought I would reach out to YouTube because I'm figuring something's wrong, right? They write me back. They can't see anything wrong. So I'm like, then it's got to be user error on my part. So I'm like, what could I have done that would have erased all my comments? And they said, well, did you have an internet interruption? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, did your internet go down? Did you accidentally turn off your Wi-Fi? So I realized, oh no, I didn't, but I have a feeling I know what happened. So we spoke to our carrier today to see if I'm right, and we suspect that I am right. Folks, when I have internet in the apartment, and you all know it's wonky. Well, when I step out onto our patio, it stops working like 3 feet out the door. But there's a hotel, I told you that our roof is as big as theirs, right next to our building. And they have unsecured internet. And they've been gracious enough that I've told them honestly that I use their internet when I'm seated at the table. Because my internet doesn't reach there, and their internet does, and it's unsecured, but I went and told the manager. The manager says, don't worry about it. It doesn't cost us anything extra. Use it, no problem. They're very neighborly like that, and actually the hotel manager is very nice. I have a feeling there is a no man's land, folks, in between my internet and their internet. And when I'm seated at the table, that dining table, and that's usually where I go on my breaks. Remember I told you like when my back's hurting and I do all this paper cutting for projects, right? Okay, so when I'm doing a ton of paper cutting, my back starts to hurt. Probably because I only have that small bistro table and the sofa. So I'm either doing it here on the bed or I'm doing it at an awkward angle and I'm bending over. Of course my back hurts. All right, so I take breaks. And when I do that, I take my little laptop outside with me with my coffee or my Diet Coke. And I watch your videos and I comment. And I comment on some comments you've left. And I relax. And when I'm ready, I go back inside. Folks, if my computer's not angled the right way, I lose that hotel internet. And I don't have my internet. Well, usually when this happens, YouTube's video things have a red thing. And they tell you it didn't upload. I'm sorry, I was unable to put your comment up or whatever. Why did I not get a notice? So, of course, now once we figured it out, I then contact YouTube again and I say, so tell me what happened. Because clearly I lost the net between the hotel and my house. Clearly. It's an internet failure. But normally I get a notice from you guys. Like if I type in the comment and I press comment, it goes red if it doesn't upload. Not only did it not go red, I saw my comment posted. So I didn't think at all that you guys didn't see all those comments. I feel terrible. All the people on those 2 days must have thought I just didn't bother answering. No. So I was like, what happened? There is a slight glitch thing. So like there was some kind of disconnect where on my screen it looked like they uploaded, but they didn't. It was a complete internet down. And so by the time I realized that, it was today. So I need to go back through my videos and see if there's any other glitches like that. And I am going to comment on those 2 videos tomorrow. Because today was a bunch of making and a bunch of other fun things in the afternoon for a few hours. And I've caught up on your videos, but I haven't caught up on your regular comments from today. So I need to do that before I go back through everything and check everything. but that is on the plan and the schedule for tomorrow. So I wanted to let you know that. And I also wanted to let you know that Kayla, Miss Craftypenpalmoma, has been through a flood recently, folks. And she lost most of her paper supplies. And she made such a teeny wish. So if any of you guys have any extra 6x6 sheets that you're not using, it'd be awesome if you could send them to her. She's like really low on supplies. And the other thing I'm going to say is, and I'm going to do this in a separate video, but I really need to make a better bridge between YouTube and Instagram. So for instance, like Craftypenpalmoma Kayla has like 1,300 followers on YouTube, on Instagram. See, YouTube obsessed on Instagram. And unless she does a swap with someone here who does videos, or she starts doing videos, which she's thinking she might come around to, she's not sure yet, no one's ever going to see her work. And her work is fabulous. Sorry, that's my husband's phone. The work is fabulous. Like, I mean fabulous, right? Like, just terrific work. And if you all like Maggie Holmes like I do, or you like All Heart, you're going to love her work. You're just going to love it. It's beautiful. But you don't get to see it on here because she's on Instagram. And we don't, here, my fault, I need to build a better bridge because you're not seeing enough of people's work that are coming on here and commenting and investing. And we're not going back the other way necessarily and looking at their stuff on Instagram. And I need to figure this out. I don't usually present a problem without a solution. I believe always at school I say to my students, don't present me the problem if you don't have a solution. Come to me with a possible solution or two and I'm happy to help you. Well, I need some more time to think about it. I just want you to know that it's on my radar. Instagrammers, it's on my radar. My friend Carmen's one of those Instagrammers, folks. She comes on here graciously every night and comments, but the truth is she's Instagram, not YouTube. And she does that to help create a bridge, but I need to do a better job of that. So I need to give that a think. I just want you Instagrammers to know, Lauren Cunningham, Amber Rosenbaum, I'm thinking about it. Okay, I know it's a problem and I need to fix it, but I don't yet have a viable bridge. I'll come up with one. Those of you who have not watched Miss Lady's video for these, folks, if I can do it, you for sure can do it. I can't pull this back yet to show you how they look curled or anything because I need to make sure the glue's totally dry before I do that. But folks, these are so fabulous. And they're not hard to make. If I can do it and not only do it, but alter it, oh folks, this is so doable for you great makers. If you don't have gluing cutting issues, this is simple and gorgeous to gift. And none of them look alike, folks. None of them look alike. Switch up that paper collection and you'd be amazed how they change too. And how they gift you all sorts of inspiration to alter these centers up. Because Lily just taught you the base. From there, you could just go nuts. Even I went nuts. Maybe I'll show these to you once they're all glittered up and highlighted and accented because they're super fun. And so nice to gift people. So nice to gift people. That was my super long ramble for today. I'm going to go back to doing a little making, and a little more watching your comments, and I'll be back to say goodnight. Bye for now, folks.